Life Rhythms with Ryan Skyy. Observing the world around me, looking inward, trying to make sense of it all.
Welcome to Life Rhythms Radio Show. I am your host, Ryan Skyy. This episode is sponsored by Mixillery.com, a remixing service. Remixes are powerful marketing tools that can introduce your song to a wider audience. But with so many producers and remixers out there, it's difficult to determine who's the right fit for your song, how much to pay them, and determine the value they bring to your record. Things like, do they have residencies? Have they won awards? Do other DJs support their music and record pools? Do they have a genuine fan base? These are the kinds of things that Mixillery takes the guesswork out of hiring a remixer. They walk you through the process from start to finish, and they find you the best fit for your budget. Working with top producers and using a data-driven approach. So go to Mixillery.com to learn more and get started. Life Rhythms, it's a radio show that revolves around my personal growth journey. As a DJ and a producer, I spend a lot of my time observing the world around me, looking inward, trying to make sense of it all. I've been doing it in song form, and now I do it on the radio show. Each episode of Life Rhythms, we feature one guest and one song, or in this case today, one album. And then I choose a topic around the music. I'm excited for today's guest because we have electronic pop duo from Australia, siblings, called Lastlings. And we're featuring their album, Perfect World, which is out now. Josh and Amy from Lastlings. The name, interestingly, came from an essay that Josh wrote in high school about the last humans on Earth. I'm excited to talk to them about the album. I love the music. I was reading that Alex Gallagher from NME said when singer Amy Dowdle's impassioned vocals soar over shimmering synths and electronic drums, the songs on Perfect World at their peak feel at once utterly euphoric and devastating. I love the drama of that. That's so true to me. And you heard a little snippet from the album coming into this segment. It's the first song we're going to be featuring called Holding Me Like Water. We're going to feature Holding Me Like Water and also their song Let You In. We're going to talk about love when it's slipping away and also when it feels right and when you want to just jump in and you're ready to let someone have the love that you have to share. Amy is going to talk about how the whole album is kind of like a journal. And we're going to go into the various songs. But we're going to take a quick break. And when we get back, I'm going to bring Lastlings on, Josh and Amy, and we're going to dive into the music and the topic right after this on Adobe Radio. Welcome to Life Rhythms Radio Show. I am your host, Ryan Skyy. I've got with me electronic pop duo from Australia, the Lastlings, with me today. Josh and Amy, how are you?
We're
Good,
really
thanks.
good.
How are you?
Yeah.
I'm so glad you can join us today.
No, thank you for having us.
And we are here to feature and celebrate your album, Perfect World, which is out now.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys, the last album you put out was in 2020, right?
Yeah, long
Yes.
time ago.
So it's been a long time coming for this album.
Yeah.
It has, yeah.
I've been listening to the tracks on there, preparing for today, and I have to say that sonically, your sound is gorgeous.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Like vocally and sonically, it's just feels so good. It really does.
Thank you. That's nice to hear. Yeah, we spent a lot of time on getting this one done, so it's nice to hear that. Thank you.
Yeah,
Mm.
I
I think
love.
it's maybe a good part of like 2 or 3 years now that we've been working on it. So yeah.
How many songs did you work on before you finished the ones that actually made it on the album?
A lot.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
there's
we,
so many great songs on the album. Like it's a really strong body of work.
Yeah, we had like the first few, maybe like 3 or 4 songs that we're like, okay, this is good. We can kind of start an album with this. And then I think after that, it was just, we were trying to write songs to add to that as well. And then, yeah, I think we've been writing for about 2-3 years. Some of these songs, some of them we even started like before First Contact, and they've kind of trailed through and made it onto this second album. So yeah. They've gone through a lot of development over that time.
Yeah, when you're working on new material, do you test it out live, or how do you decide what's going to make it on the album? Do you run it by your team?
Yeah, I think we run it by our team, but I think this album kind of happened very like when you listen to it from start to finish, it's kind of like a diary. Like those songs are made in that order almost, I think. So, and you can kind of hear it from the start towards the end. It becomes more hopeful. And yeah, I think the last two songs, like What Good Am I and Far From Falling, I think Far From Falling is a very hopeful song. I hope it is for other people.
Yeah, What Good Am I, Closer. And Gravity, you put that out as a single.
Yeah.
Yes.
What was it about Gravity that you wanted to lead with?
It was definitely one of my favorite songs that we've made. It was that's also one of the ones we made right before the pandemic. We did like a bit of a writing trip together, and it's kind of the first writing trip we've done together before. So it was a pretty fruitful time. We wrote maybe like 2 or 3, maybe even 4 of the songs that appear on the album at that time. So yeah, it was great to just like get away, write together, and not have those like what's the word, just distracted at home and distracted by friends and family. It was just nice to just write and focus on that.
Yeah. And speaking of family, I didn't mention in the intro, but you two are siblings. I want to make sure listeners know that, because it's very interesting that you're siblings. You work together on a project.
Yeah, we do. We make it work.
Yeah. So one of my favorite songs on the album is Holding Me Like Water. I wanted to start with that for segment 1. It's so catchy. It's like, I was listening to it on the way to the studio today, and it stuck in my head. I'm like, this is a really great song. And for me, because we have opportunity to feature 2 of the songs on the album and play samples of it as we go. And so we played a little bit of Holding Me Like Water coming into this, and we're gonna feature Let You In our second segment. But Holding Me Like Water, I would love to talk to you about that. The idea, I'm looking at the lyrics and I'm curious, when you say, I'll never want to give you up, but you're holding me like water. What does that mean, you're holding me like water?
It's kind of like when you're, so this song's about a relationship coming to an end. And it's kind of just saying that you're on your side, you're kind of the one that wants the relationship to keep going, but the other person's kind of already let you go and they're essentially holding you like water. And because I think, yeah, if you're holding water, it's just slipping away. So I think, yeah.
So literally you're slipping away because of like holding water. That also, that lyric reminds me of the Sarah Borealis song, Gravity. Have you heard that song? Sarah Borealis. So. She has a lyric that says, you hold me without touch, you keep me without chains. And I get that sense from your song too, about like this person has a hold on you and you're slipping away, right? But they're kind of like moving away, but they still have a hold on you and they don't really even have to do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is similar, yeah.
Yeah, I it's one of my favorite songs on the album. When you're writing, what's the process like? Because a lot of these songs are romantic in nature. So do you two kind of come into sessions and talk about what's going on in your life? Or where do you draw from?
We both write separately. So I think like mostly for Amy, yeah, it's a lot of the lyrics are like quite inward thinking and self-reflective. So I think a lot of them have been like written on her own and in her own time. So we kind of like the way we write and produce together is that I'd make, it's different for every song, but for the most part, I'll make a demo or an instrumental and then give it to Amy for her to write on. But for this album, there's been times where Amy's written like a song over piano chords or like a bit of production, and then we've come together and put it together and worked on it. So yeah, I think that the process this time has been like, yeah, we've been changing it up, so which has been refreshing. And
are you writing separately? Because
Yeah, so Amy does all the lyrics herself, and then I'll write all the production and the rest of the chords and all that.
Are you both based in Melbourne now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So we moved down 2 or 3 years ago now. Yeah, we moved down right during the pandemic. Like we when we first moved down, we thought it was kind of coming out of all of that stuff, but we just went straight back into lockdown. So basically, like even a lot of the songs on the album were written just in my living room when I didn't even have any furniture or anything throughout it. It was basically just my instruments, a table and chair.
Yeah. So you put this album out. It just came out. You're featuring Gravity. Are you going to be putting out other singles with it? Did you have a release plan after that?
Or after following the album?
Yeah. No, you led with Gravity and the album's out. I'm curious, which of the songs are your favorite on the album?
Oh,
I do like
that's
Fast
hard.
and Falling. I think like there is quite a melancholic feeling throughout the album, and I feel like that one kind of comes out of that and is, like Amy said, like quite hopeful. So I think that's feels like an exciting song for me and something that I can't wait to play live as well. I think it'll be really fun to play live and kind of have that like really nice euphoric moment.
When you're playing live, is it a DJ set? Is it like a hybrid set?
Yeah, hybrid. We play with a live drummer. Amy sings, and then I think for this set she'll be playing piano, and then I play like drum pad, synth, and then I also play guitar as well. So yeah, it's a bit of like a hybrid stuff. But there's backing track like just for stuff that I can't play or stuff that like sounds better left recorded than it is live. So yeah.
When you first started out and you were playing live, what were those first couple gigs like?
Very funny.
Because I mean, now you're
really
touring, so I would love to hear about like the early days.
Yeah, like we obviously like had no idea what we were doing, but
yeah, and like we were both very shy.
Yeah,
well, at least I was.
Like the first set was like just kind of me doing like all the Ableton stuff, and I'd play guitar and all the drums would come through Ableton, and then Amy would sing, and then even like we played like our first festival. I think our second ever show was a festival.
Okay.
And I think Amy can probably talk on it, but she like wasn't even holding the mic properly. Like her hand was covering it.
I was 15, or I think 15 or 16.
Like not even like old enough to drink yet. And we're just like playing this festival. It was pretty funny. But yeah, like early days were like very fun though. It was just like no rules, just kind of exploring, trying to figure out what the sound was, and yeah, it was great.
Yeah. With Holding Me Like Water, I'm going to go back to the lyrics here. The letting me slip away, we talked about that, and I want you in my life again. I want to feel in love again. Can you talk a little bit more about that? Can you talk about that feeling? Because I'm curious, whenever we have a romantic situation and we break up, I'm curious, like, are you one that tends to leave first, or is it usually like the other person, or kind of a mix? Like for me, it's been a mix. Yeah.
I think it's been a mix. I think when I was writing that song, I was more like, I didn't want them to leave, but I think in my heart, I didn't want them to leave, but in my head, I was just like, this is toxic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was thinking more with my heart and not my head. And yeah.
Yeah, it's a process. It's a process to move on from the person. I am like, I'm super strict with social media with somebody that I dated. Like I'm like obsessively not looking at their page, which I don't think that's the norm. I think the opposite is the norm. You know, I think most of the time people we and I will eventually like check up on people that I've dated out of curiosity, but I wait like so long. I wait like at least a year because I know it's not healthy for me. And so like I'm super extreme. I like won't look at any of their stories ever because I'll think to myself like I'll imagine looking at their page and then I'll imagine seeing something that's triggering or hurtful and
Totally.
And I'm like, I'm not doing that to myself. I'm not even taking a chance. I'm not ready to see that. And so I just like won't look.
At least you know that and you figured that out and you know where to draw the line. And
I wasn't always like that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like you could totally be on the other side where you're just like sitting on the couch, just like looking at your phone the entire time, just reading into everything. So yeah,
Yes.
good you figured out the line.
And like overthinking and waiting,
Mm.
waiting. I've mentioned this in previous episodes, but like there was one time where I created a fake profile and I would like view, yeah, I would view his stories through a fake profile. I mean, that's
I think everyone's
Yeah.
been there with their
that's
fake
so weird.
instas for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely
Finsters.
not alone there.
Yeah. I mean, I just didn't feel great. So I wouldn't do that again. But,
Mm,
you know,
Yeah.
no.
it's so interesting because like when I'm single and I'm not dating anyone, I'm so put together. I'm super focused and I work hard and I'm disciplined and like I feel really confident and secure and balanced. And then when I start
Mm,
dating somebody and like feelings start to get involved, things come
for
up that
sure.
it's like
The
you forget
walls come down.
yeah, and things get
Come,
stirred up that
yeah.
you're like, wait, I didn't know that stuff was there.
Yeah.
Why am
Yeah.
I acting like so goofy? You know?
Yeah. That it does that.
Yeah. Do you
Yeah, I'm definitely the same as well. I think when I'm single, which I'm single now, and I'm like, I
hey
feel so good right now.
right.
And I get so much done, and yeah, I don't like overthink about everything. But yeah, as soon as I'm in a relationship, I'm like a simp.
Right. Yes. And how does it play? Like how do you keep balance with your schedules right now? Like what kind of person would be ideal for you now?
I think someone that is I think I'm quite independent, so I think someone that's also independent, but like this is getting like real deep.
That's the show.
um,
That's life rhythms. Yeah. That's why we're
yeah,
here.
I think someone that's independent and but understands my work and I understand their work and but we can hang out a lot too.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Have you done the long distance thing before?
I haven't. No, I think the longest I've gone when I was in a relationship was probably only 3 months, which was already hard. I think.
I've done long distance in the past, and
How was it?
through history, it hasn't quite worked out well. But you know, it's like there's
Uh,
really. I felt like with long distance, there's like really, really great moments, like really peak, and then there's also really, really bad moments. You
yeah.
can't see the person a lot, and just yeah, there's so many issues that come with that. It works for some people though.
It does. I've done it. It didn't work well for me. You're kind of like glorified pen pals. You're like pen pals, kind of.
Yeah, like historically, like I don't think I know anyone that it's worked for, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's like
Mm.
yeah, you have those when you like see the person after you haven't seen them for a very long time. That's a really, really great feeling, and then but then you have to leave. So yeah, it's
Yeah,
it's very up and down kind of relationship.
there probably needs to be like an end goal or something. Like if you're like, okay, I have to work overseas for 6 months, but at this end, we're going to be back together in this city.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
I've never been in one, so
There has to be an end game. I did long distance once with someone he lived in Mexico City. And we did it for a few months, but it was really challenging because the nature of my job and maybe you two can relate. I feel like I need somebody that's very, very secure because we're DJing, we're in, you get attention, you're in front of crowds and long distance can be challenging for somebody that does have anxieties because it amplifies because they're so far away. And even if you're a very trustworthy person that there's nothing to worry about, it doesn't really matter because they're gonna like have their own stories, like when they don't speak to you for a couple days or even a little bit of time, like they wonder what you're doing and kind of like their mind wanders. That was the experience that I had. It made it very challenging.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I guess it's like it depends on the person as well. Yeah, like you said, someone that's like quite secure with themselves, they're obviously not going to come to those kind of conclusions. And yeah, I guess it ends up being just trusting between the two.
Yeah, I've had people say like, "Oh, I could never date a DJ," you know?
Mm.
Somebody that I was pseudo dating, but they were like, I could never date a DJ. And I was like, I get it. But
Yeah.
if you really know me, that whole like archetype stereotypical DJ, I'm not that. Like, I'm a musician. I'm
Yeah.
there literally for the music. I don't
For sure.
don't drink. I'm sober when I'm DJing, and I'm in and out, you know, like you're isolated too. You're up on a stage and then everyone leaves and you leave, and it's just kind of not, it's not really like that, but people kind of have their own ideas.
Yeah, like predisposed idea of what DJing actually is. Yeah, of course. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I think like but you can totally communicate that with your partner or whoever it is that you're dating, and just say that, you know, you're not putting yourself in that box, and
Yeah.
it's different.
Sometimes
But yeah,
people even say like they would never date a musician. But I'm like, I wonder if it's because the same thing, like the touring and
it's definitely the touring, the travel. Yeah,
and there's
you're
also
away from
the
each other for long
songwriting.
periods.
Like, they're signing up. You're gonna be pulling
written
from your
about,
life,
yeah.
right? Like, whether you're writing songs or like me with a show, I'm gonna talk about people I'm dating. You're gonna write about people, right? So that's kind of like this. They kind of have to be down.
Definitely
for
leaves
that.
them open in the firing line a little bit.
Yeah.
I have to sign up a little contract. You're gonna be my muse.
Yeah.
No, you just say it's about someone else. Just be like, nah, it's not about you.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
Not
I don't
everything's
know.
about you.
Yeah. Oh no, babe, we're good. And they're like, is this a breakup album? You're like, no,
No, it's all good.
no. You know, we
No, don't read into it.
right. So we have a few minutes left for the segment. I want to touch again on "Holding Me Like Water." Yeah. Is there anything else about the song that you want to talk about what inspired the song?
Maybe I'll add in a bit of the production stuff before we go into the lyrics. But
Please.
like the way it started was like on this really cheap Korg, I think like bass synth module thing. It's like I got it for like $60. So, and it had this like, you know, the melody line that goes that kind of like lead that goes throughout. I just made a beat around that, and then from then on I just added everything else around it. And yeah, it was just fun creating a song out of something that's like such a cheap piece of equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How are you choosing sound sonically for these?
Yeah, I don't know. Like for me, like music is quite therapeutic, so I always kind of sit down and try and make sounds that make me feel good, I guess. And I don't know if that's how I'm feeling that day. Like I want to be soothed, so I'm playing like nice warm pads, or you know, like feeling angry, make a really aggressive beat. Like, yeah, I think it just depends on my mood that day and how I'm feeling that week. So yeah, I guess for me it's therapy. I just sit down and try and figure out whatever I'm going through touching instruments and whatnot. Yeah.
What about when you first started out? How has the sound evolved from the beginning?
I think I can like get my ideas out clearer now. Like what I have in my head, I can kind of translate that to an instrument now much better and quicker, which is so handy. I'm still not super quick. I know like I see people in the studio and I'm like, oh, that was like, I don't know how you did that so quickly, like figure it out. But it's definitely become better for me and easier to change things. Like if Amy has an idea, I can kind of figure that out as well. And yeah, I think over the years, just being able to technically figure things out better has been really helpful.
Yeah, it is hard. Like, because I only just started like trying to produce more lately, and yeah, it's really hard to, because I always have these ideas but I can't like do it straight away.
Yeah,
so it's like almost kind of frustrating sometimes, but I think it's just practice and time.
That is the fun part though. Like even if it is frustrating, like the working it out and the problem solving part of it is like quite fun. And then once you've like figured it out, you're like, like those eureka moments and those like light bulb moments are so, I think that's why I make music. Like I remember when we were writing Gravity at the writing trip, when I kind of like wrote out the melodies for the lead, I was like, oh, this is so great. This is so fun. And yeah, just having those like light bulb moments are really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, every time I have those, I like jump out of my seat, and my roommate's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm just like, "Yes."
But it's so exciting. Yeah.
It is though. It's like
Yeah.
you work so hard. You're like sitting there for fucking ages, and you're like trying to figure it out. And as soon as you get it, your whole body changes basically.
It's such a crazy feeling when I create something. I listen to it like on repeat, just obsessively, and I've reflected on that. Like, what is that? And I think it's like I feel like I'm learning about myself. Like I'm listening to this creation that was in my head, and now it's out. It's like it's in the world, and I'm listening and listening to it, and it's like somehow I'm learning about myself in the process.
For sure. And you've also like accomplished something, which is like that in itself is great.
Yeah, there's like a sense of wonderment, like, wow, this exists. It's like my imagination. Like I'm listening to your album on the way here, and I think about this often. It's like these ideas were in your head, and now here I am on the other side of the world, and I'm literally like in your imagination. Like your imagination has become my reality as I'm listening to these songs.
Yeah, it is. It's such a wild thought
so
what music
crazy.
is. Yeah. Just seriously from like, especially for like our music, starts from like humble beginnings. Really, like it's my bed. Like I have a bedroom studio. Basically, Amy writes at home, and then just somehow the ideas get pulled out of the thin air and transported over to like someone like you that's listening on the other side of the world. It's such a crazy thing.
They should make like a Pixar movie. It's like you're like walking around inside of our heads and like listening to everything and hearing all these things.
But it is you're so right. It is wild. Like what happens over here, and then like to evoke an emotional response in someone else is like is so far away, or could even be like 5 doors down from you. You wouldn't even know.
Yeah, and there's times I'll listen to something I make, and I'll just be like, how did I do that? How did I do that?
Yeah, everyone, like a lot of people ask us how we do some things, and I'm like, honestly, I can't remember. I don't know. It was a happy accident. I want to be one of those, like, sometimes I want to be like that put together producer where I'm like, oh yeah, that I did this and this and this to get there. But a lot of the time it's just like a happy accident, really, just trying different techniques and sounds and combinations of sounds just to like get there.
Yeah. I was watching an interview with Jordan Peterson, and he was speaking about artists. And I've said this before on the podcast, on the radio show, but I want to say it again because it's so interesting to me. He says that he feels like artists, we live halfway in reality and halfway in a dream state. And that artists teach people how to see. Like artists look and look and look, and we look and we write it, like we put it in the art, and we show people what we see, and then through people consuming the art, it's like you're teaching people how to see the world. Like they're able to see what you see, but then they're also learning how to see themselves.
For sure. Yeah, I guess like there's a lot of small details and minor things in life that aren't picked up in the everyday. So I think, for us to just see those, figure those out, and be able to like translate that and open that up to other people is quite powerful.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I would say artists are very observant. Sometimes a lot of us are overthinkers. And I think it's common for a lot of artists to have like ADHD, and at least I've noticed. So I feel like everyone's just always like, I don't know, zoned out in a way, but like focus. But you're not zoned out. You're actually thinking about something that you're looking at. I don't know.
Yeah, it's common to be an introvert, or you had mentioned being shy. That's common. I feel like because there's obviously a spectrum. You have the introverts and the extroverts, and I find that a lot of artists like are wired in a way where they're taking in so much data. Like we're a lot of us are observers because we take in so much data and we're just like processing it. And so we have like very active inner worlds. Like, would you say your inner world is active compared to your outer world?
Yeah, it's very loud in here.
Yeah, I'm always thinking about the next thing as well. So yeah, I have the most overactive mind. I'm not, I also have like millions of hobbies as well. So even my like external world is like quite busy.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. So we'll take a break here on Adobe Radio, and I'll be back here with the Lastlings, and we are going to dive into more of their album, Perfect World, right after this on Adobe Radio. Welcome back to Life Rhythms Radio Show. I'm your host, Ryan Skyy. I've got my guest with me again today, the Australian electronic pop duo, the Lastlings, Josh and Amy, siblings, joining us again. Welcome back.
Hello.
Hi.
Again.
Hello.
The last segment we talked about your song "Holding Me Like Water" on your new album "Perfect World," and this segment I'd love to talk about "Let You In." So, if "Holding Me Like Water" is kind of like when love is slipping away, to me, "Let You In," to me is more about like when love is right, like when you found it and you're like, yes, I found it. I'm ready for this. I'm gonna dive in. I'm gonna let you in. I found what I've been looking for. One of the lyrics.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, I think it was funny though, because when I wrote this, our management was kind of like, you guys probably should write something happy.
Oh yeah.
Because this whole album's sounding real sad. And I'm like, oh, okay. And it is actually quite hard to write a happy song when you're not feeling happy. And I think I was sitting there, and then I kind of just was thinking about a relationship that I was in, that like the nice moments in that relationship. And I think I was thinking back to that time and when I actually felt like this is really great, and I actually feel like this person knows me so well and I can really open up to them, and like they know how to talk to me and they know like me inside out. And I think, yeah, it's kind of more, for me, it's more reflective. But I think when you listen to it, it sounds like it's in the moment.
Yeah, it just feels so good. It's like a declaration. Josh, you had said off air that you think this one's going to be fun to play live. I bet it's going to be so much fun. I think this song is kind of like your Treat You Better. Like Rufus's Treat You Better, you know? I feel like this is that song for you guys.
Yeah, I think when Amy sent it through the first time, it was just with the piano. So it was really, yeah, I didn't really know where to take it because it could have been more downbeat and just maybe even more stripped back and just piano, but then it just ended up being this like maximal dance moment kind of song.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, when you get to the end, it's just so euphoric and the stabs are just going crazy on it. And it's just, yeah, for me, it's just like a full wall of sound kind of electronic song. So it was really exciting to make and just fun.
It was cool because
I'm excited to play it live.
Yeah, because when you sent it back, because I think when I sent it to you, I was kind of just like, I'm imagining it to be like a dance beat and like going into the chorus, it's kind of found what I've been looking for. And then what you did was exactly what I was imagining. So when I heard it, I was like, this is cool.
When you're writing songs, do you give Josh like notes of what you have in mind for it, or you kind of like let him have fresh ears and interpret it on his own?
I think I just said this. Usually I just send something, say this could be cool like this, but not much in detail. Like I think, yeah, I'll just let Josh like see where he can take it.
Usually like what do you think of this? Or like, I like this song. What do you think? And then if I'm drawn to it, I'll go, oh, can you send me the stems? Or yeah, let's work on it together. If I don't quite like it, I'm pretty honest. I don't know, like it's good. We get asked a lot in interviews, like, what's it like working together? And I think one of the best and probably worst parts is that we're like super honest with each other. So yeah, it's good in the way that like you can tell them exactly how you feel about it. And then
you have an advantage being siblings that way, because you can just be honest with each other. You can
like obviously like we're quite conscious of how the other person feels, but yeah, we don't have to dance around the fact too much, which is good.
Have you had a chance to play any of these live yet, or are you waiting to go on tour for that?
Yeah, so we've
We
been
have
playing
played.
Gravity for, yeah.
Oh, we have been playing. I think throughout the year we've been playing Gravity, Holding Me Like Water, and I think those are the only two we've been
And
playing.
Get What You Want.
Yeah, and Get What You Want, actually. Yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, very excited to play the rest of the album.
We're gonna play most of the songs live from the album, which is gonna be really fun. I really want to play Noise as well. Noise is gonna be very fun, I think.
Can
Just
you
that
tell me
live.
about that one? Let's talk about Noise a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I don't have the lyrics in front of me or I don't have the lyrics, in front of me of Noise, but I remember.
Sorry, Amy can sing it for you right now.
Yeah, please. I remember it saying something about the lyrics about wanting noise in quiet or in our quiet place,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, you don't even need it written down. You've got it.
Yeah, what
You know exactly what's going on.
I'm curious what that means.
That's an Amy question, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like I think when we wrote this song, I think we just moved to Melbourne and I moved into my apartment and I like dance around a lot like an idiot when I'm by myself and even with my friends. But I think I was like dancing around my apartment and I was listening to music and then I turned it off and it just felt so quiet in the room and I kind of was starting to miss like my previous relationship, like even though I really shouldn't have. But yeah, I was like, I just missed like those nice moments and like the noise in a relationship. So like just everything that comes with a relationship, even if it is like, I don't know, like the cuddling and the laughing and the doing activities together and even just like fine, just like everything that comes in a relationship. I was kind of like, I miss that. But then I was kind of like, oh, I miss those nice moments and stuff, but I'm like in such a good place right now. And it's like kind of like realizing that and like dancing on your own and being single.
Do you like in general with talking about romantic and not even just like in general in your days, do you like spending your day, do you like the quiet or do you like always having a noise, something playing or going on?
I think both. Like some days I do like just having quiet and sometimes I'll play ambient music in the background. And then other days I'm like, I feel so flat and I just need something to uplift me. So I'll put on like a nice playlist with all my favorite songs and like a lot of like dance music and disco and old like classic songs. Like I think, music is definitely something that uplifts me and makes me feel instantly better. I was saying this to my friend the other day and we're both feeling so awful. And then I think that night it was like 1 a.m. and we put on like really like just all these old nostalgic songs that we hadn't heard since we were in high school. And we were just like instantly felt better.
Yeah. How about you,
50-50.
Josh?
Like, I obviously just listening to music all day and making songs like you need that quiet. And I think it's pretty funny. Sometimes when I'm driving, if I like pick friends up or I'm in the car with them, they're like, "Dude, why is it silent?" I'm like, "Oh, sorry."
Yes.
It's like literally dead quiet, and they're like, "Is everything all right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sorry. I've just been like making music all day, so it's just I need the quiet."
Yeah.
And I don't even realize I'm doing it sometimes, and just like literally just driving on the highway, it's dead silent, and they're just kind of like looking over, going, "Is he gonna like turn the radio on or something?"
I'm with you. I love driving in silence. I love it.
Yeah, but then like on the other hand, like I do love driving with music. Like it when I'm obviously feeling it, like I have a lot of like moments where I think of ideas when I'm listening to other people's songs as well, other people's music as well when I'm driving. I think I don't know what it is about it. Like when I'm driving at night, just I get like a flood of like different ideas when I'm doing that. So I think that's really great as well. But yeah. At home, I prefer to work at night, mostly because I feel like the entire world is silent. Like it's easy to work. No one's kind of texting you, no one's bothering you, and that I always wanted to be like a morning person, but
yeah, me too.
I feel like I work much like I work much better at night, and like having that silence and that quiet feel just really makes it easier to be creative, I think.
Yeah, the most creative times is usually either early in the morning or late at night. But either way, it's when the world is quiet and
Totally.
still.
Yeah, I think just being like void of distractions and all that kind of stuff is, yeah, actually really powerful. Yeah.
Yeah, it's important to rest your ears as well, because if you're wearing headphones all day, I feel like everything, I don't know, I can't hear properly.
Yeah,
That's
nice
like
to have silence.
all your like the hairs in your ears fall down if you're doing that, and then in the next day
yeah, you have
they're
to.
all fresh. That's why everyone mixes in the morning.
Mm.
Yeah. Also, I kind of I love listening to music also, but I get fatigued after a while because when I listen, I can't just listen. Like I'm
Yeah.
always just like listening to the
Like,
top
oh, what's
line.
that? How did they make that?
What's that sound? And like, oh, I see what
Yeah.
they're doing here, or how did they do that? You know. So
Yeah, as like a side note, what I've learned recently is not to sleep with noise canceling headphones, because I didn't know it was so obvious, but I was sleeping with my headphones for like 8-9 hours, and then I was waking up really really dizzy. So I don't know
really.
if you've done that, if you've ever had it, but yeah, apparently like it blocks off your ears, and it's really important in balance. So once you like wake up,
Oh wow.
it was really throwing me off last week. So I don't know.
Yeah.
If anyone's out there listening, maybe just don't do that.
That's why I've been wearing these like wire headphones again, because I'm just like, I know I have AirPods and I have my Bose noise cancelling ones, but I just never wear them unless I'm at the gym. But yeah, I even just wear these wire ones to the gym now because I'm scared of my ears.
Yeah, because if you can imagine like how important like your ear is in balance. Like if you're blocking that off for hours and hours, and then there's no ambient noise or anything kind of going to your brain, it just really screws you up. Yeah,
when you had the headphones on,
no noise cancelling.
Were you listening to anything in them, or you were actually just blocking out the noise?
I always have like there's like the setting on your iPhone now, you can do the ambient noise, like white noise, and had that on with like
dark noise too.
I listen to Niels Fram like almost. I was listening to Niels Fram like every night.
Yeah,
just piano music.
Yeah, I have a little like Sonos speaker in my room, and
that's what I'm gonna do instead. That's much better, just having the speaker there. Yeah.
And there's on Spotify there's a playlist called Deep Sleep, and I put that on. It's so nice. Yeah, it's so nice.
Yeah.
I want to get into making sleep music, because like that stuff is streamed consistently because everyone needs to sleep.
I play it every night, all night.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. And peaceful meditation on Spotify is good.
Okay.
And peaceful meditation, and then like John Hopkins did that. I think it's the ambient playlist, and it's so good. Like it puts me to sleep straight away.
Is it on Spotify?
Yeah.
John Hopkins ambient playlist?
It's by John Hopkins, and it's really good.
I'm going to look it up. What about when you're on the road? Do you need noise when you're in your hotels?
Me and Amy, like, because touring's so tough and expensive, we like share rooms. So I think like the less noise, the better.
There's enough noise, just the two of you being there?
Like Amy always gets angry at me when I'm like shuffling around in the morning, like getting ready, because like Amy sleeps in all the time, so I'm trying to like get ready, and she's like, shut up.
I sleep in on tour because I get so tired. I'm so used to like if I don't have 8 hours, I'm like a zombie. But like, yeah, Josh is so loud in the morning. This is our sibling rivalry, not rivalry. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Sibling ick. Well, yeah, but like,
sibling.
I don't know. I'm always just like trying to get ready in the morning. I'm like, shut up.
I'm the oldest of 5 kids, and we didn't really have boundaries when it came to like people would just barge into rooms and not trying to be quiet. And now when I go home to visit, like nothing's changed. Like if we're all home visiting, now I just laugh because I'm just like, they are being so loud, and there's just no regard for somebody sleeping. And they don't mean anything by it, and that's what's funny to me. It's like, I live alone, so I'm used to like very quiet. I live alone with the French bulldog. What?
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say, you can really tell when people have like siblings or not, or like how many siblings they have, and if they're like brother or sister. Because I'm so like quiet and introverted, because I think at home, like Josh and I never really like went into each other's rooms like all the time. But like I live with my best friend. She has 2 sisters that are younger than her, so like it's like so different. Like I think like sometimes we would just like walk into each other's room. No, she'll walk into my room and like sit on my bed, and I'm like, this is like so nice, but like I've never had this before.
Whereas I'd probably go into Amy's room and like knock something off the shelf, like
Yeah, it wasn't until I was an adult and I was like taking therapy and like learning about my attachment styles and like wanting to work on different parts of my personality that I realized about boundaries and these sorts of things. I'm like, I didn't even know growing up because it was kind of chaotic because I'm the oldest of 5 and the 4 were a good amount younger than me. So it was just kind of like chaos, like kids running around and playing all the time. Yeah. That was just normal though, you know? And now I live alone, so that's like the complete opposite of how
Would you say you're extroverted or introverted?
I think I'm introverted.
Yeah.
But when I'm on stage, I'm very animated.
I think that's the same with Amy though. Like Amy's quite quiet and shy in person, but then on stage she has that like like big stage presence.
My friends tease me because like when I'm on stage, I have a lot of energy and I'm very animated. And then I get off stage and I'm super chill, like, hey guys, like, what's up? You know, and they're like, you're like 2 different people. This is so weird.
Do you do that voice as well?
I don't know. But yeah, I would say I'm introverted.
I don't know what I am. I'm extroverted in like social situations, but I do love just being alone and quiet.
I think you're an extroverted introverted just from like being your sister and living with you my whole life, because you're like really great like in social settings, but like you sometimes like your alone time, but you hang out with people like all the time, I think, compared to like I'm like so introverted, just never want to leave the house.
Yeah, so I guess I'm just both, right?
Can you do small talk? I hate small talk. Like I can't even fake it. I'm just so not interested.
Yeah. Wait, I'd love to know what star sign are you?
You what?
What star sign are you?
I'm Aquarius.
Oh no, we're going star sign.
Oh my gosh, I'm an Aquarius.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cute.
Yeah, yes.
I don't know much about it, but I was just talking about it with my friend yesterday.
Yeah. What about the Myers-Briggs? Are you familiar with that?
Is that like the personality?
Yeah.
I'm an INFJ.
I haven't done it.
I came out as INFJ, but I think I'm something different. I don't remember what I am. Because I was reading online that it's common to be misdiagnosed as INFJ. And I think I'm close to that. Maybe like, I forget, ENFJ, like pretty close. But
yeah. I think, is the E one just like the same thing, but the extroverted version?
Yeah. Maybe I'm INFP. Just like one of the letters was different. I think it was something like that.
Yeah.
INFP.
You should do it, Josh. It's interesting.
I haven't done it yet, so it's just like you guys are speaking a different language right now. I'm
just saying all these letters.
I'm ABCD.
It's like it's like you're I or E, so you're either introverted or extroverted. And then, do you remember what N? I forget what else is with N.
Oh, I have no idea.
We are not qualified to talk about this.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, I don't know anything about star signs or this, but love to know.
Yeah,
well, but it's great that you brought it up then, Amy, if you have no idea about it.
It's a combination of like, are you introverted or extroverted? And do you kind of perceive things as they happen, or do you judge them? And the combinations of those different elements kind of make up, I think, 16 different personalities. Yeah. I'm so into that stuff. Like, I don't always remember the results, but I love taking those tests and like trying to learn about myself or learn about people I'm dating.
It's fun.
Is it like an American thing? Because I swear every time I go to the States, like my friends will be like, have you taken this test? Have you taken this test? But not many of my like Australian friends talk about it. Well, maybe I don't know. Maybe my friends are different here.
I don't know what it is. It's definitely an American thing. I don't know why it's an American thing. But
I think in America, everyone's
just trying to figure it out.
The star signs. But I think we're in Japan when someone was asking us about that personality test thing.
No, I get asked a lot to do this test, so I probably should do it. Like every time I'm at a party or like an event, it seems to pop up, so I should probably just do it.
Yeah, it's good conversation if you know the answer. Like I need to redo it and figure out what my info is. I was dating somebody once, and I like when I date people, I like to try to learn about their personality because for me, it's data that I can use to try and understand that person. And I feel like you have a higher chance of things working out if you really can understand the person's personality and you have like context about how they act and why they act. And I remember I was dating somebody and I asked him to take I asked him to take this personality test. And he just got really uncomfortable. And he was like, he took it as he was afraid to take the test because he was afraid
in case there's incompatibility.
He was afraid of the results. Like he was afraid that like the results, like he was like, if I'm the wrong thing, that I wouldn't want to date him anymore. I was like, no, it's actually the opposite of that. It's like, you can be any of these. I don't care what I care, but like, it can be any of the answers. I just want to know which one it is. So I have context and I understand, totally. I understand you better.
Figure it out and make it work.
But I had to drop it. Yeah. I realized like, okay, some people, you don't pressure them, you know?
Yeah. You definitely have to pick your battle sometimes with those things.
Yeah. Okay, we only have a few minutes left in the segment, so let's touch on Let You In some more.
Star sign tangent.
No, so it's great. But let's touch on Let You In. So I just want to compare the two. We had Holding Me Like Water in segment 1, Love Is Slipping Away. We talked about Let You In and about When Love Is Right. One of my favorite lyrics in Let You In is "'Cause I've come a long, long way." First of all, the melody of that is fantastic. The vocals sound fantastic, but I also like the message of like, I've come a long, long way.
Yeah, I think for me that meant like I've come a long way as in I used to be so afraid of like love and I think what would you call it? I feel like there's a term for it.
Fearful? Avoidant?
Yeah, like avoidant, fearful, like
hesitant as well.
Yeah, hesitant, I think, because you're afraid of what's going to happen. And then it's kind of like when you get into a relationship and you feel so comfortable and you're not really scared of anything happening and you just feel like at ease, I think.
Like, I think it's time to let you in. That lyric. How are you when you meet somebody? Like, does it take you time to let the person in? Are you kind of like all in right away? Like, yes, I found somebody new. Like, let's do this. Or are you like, no, I need to take my time?
All in straight away.
I used to be all in straight away.
Amy?
I used to be all in straight away, but I think now I think I want to take my time when I'm getting to know someone. So I'm like, I know them well. And because I don't want to get hurt again if I go into it straight away and I don't know much about them. So I think now I'm super, not picky, but I know what I want now. So I'm very like, if they don't have this quality, then I'm just going to find that in someone else because I know what qualities I want in a person.
Yeah.
So,
how about you, Josh?
Hey, nice to meet you. Take all these personality tests.
What's your star sign?
Just front load it. Take this test and this test. I need your star sign and your date of birth and what's your moon rising.
Yeah. And take a number. Please sit over there.
Oh God. Yeah, I think the next time around, I know my plan is the next time around when I meet someone, I start going through that process again. I'm gonna be more chill in the experience. Like I'm just gonna let them be. You know, like in the past, because I'm always like this show, Life Rhythms. It's a personal growth show. I'm all about personal growth and discovery. So when I'm like learning about attachment styles or different things, and I kind of like in the past got a little obsessive with it, and whoever I was dating, I would be like talking to them about it all the time and then like analyzing them and analyzing me and I think it's just too much. And I think like I've learned enough now about it that I don't really need to talk about it with them. It's like I can just kind of like, I'm excited to go through it again because I know the next time around I'm going to be able to be just kind of, like I said, more chill and relax with it. Just kind of let it happen naturally. Yeah. So
and I think like, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think when you are like searching for it and like obsessing over it, that's when like the right person's going to come. Like I've just seen that so much with all my friends. Like when they're not looking for something, then the right person just comes along. But yeah, it's something I've noticed.
Yeah, because you're putting out a completely different energy. When you're looking, you're coming from a place of like, I don't have. And the universe is like, okay, you don't have, I'll give you more of that. I don't have. But then when you kind of like soften that and you kind of let go a little bit, then it just creates a different vibe.
Yeah.
Real quick, I want to close with you two are going on tour, right? You're going to be coming to the US?
Yeah, we're coming back to America, which we're very
excited
about. Yeah, we played a set of shows last year. Wait, was it last year or 2 years ago?
It
was
blur.
great.
It's all a blur.
It was great. Anyway, yeah, it was great. When we were here last time, it was so fun. It was just so nice. I think we were talking about it before, just making music and for it to travel so far and be something that people can have access to. And it was just awesome, just playing to people halfway across the world, basically. Just seeing people sing the lyrics back and all that kind of stuff. So I'm excited to do that again.
Yeah. I've seen you live. The first time I saw you was when you were playing with Rufus.
Awesome.
Yeah, in LA. Cool. I think it was at the Historic Park.
Yeah. That was such a crazy venue.
And Bob Moses
and
opened.
So many people.
I saw you and Bob Moses for the first time that night.
That was a great lineup. That was such a good night.
That was a good night. And I was on acid.
Crazy. That would have been a very good night there. And
it was fun.
All the installations would have been crazy then.
It was fun.
They would have been.
It was fun because all three of your groups sonically, it's just you're all different, but you're all similar. You know, like it's
like it makes sense.
I would say complementary. You're all complementary to each other. Yeah. So it was so much fun. It was a beautiful concert.
Yeah, well, when we come back, we're not going to be playing that size event, but we're going to be playing at the Fonda, which I'm actually really excited about.
Great. That's down the street from me.
Too.
It's
Oh, really?
I live right up the street.
I always see the sign, and I'm like, oh, that's such a cool place to play. And we're finally doing it. So
yay! When is that in September?
That's also in September. Yeah, we're doing like New York. We're also going to do Canada as well. So I just saw the dates before. We're doing Toronto and Montreal. And a bit of a bit of Texas as well, which is going to be fun. We've never been.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. Okay, Josh and Amy, thank you for coming on the show today. It was absolutely a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you so much. That was fun.
Yay.
Thank you.
And to everyone listening, check out Lastlings online and their new album, Perfect World. And we will see you next time here on Life Rhythms.